What's up guys? Holy crap, it's been stupid hot over here. But you know what's even stupider was hearing Maximillian Dood imply that PlayStation's decision to stop making games on disc and join the years-long multi-platform initiative to go fully digital is the fault of American voters voting for the one and only Orange Man.
Games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers and digital formats only. I have choice things to say of how we got here, but I'm gonna save it. Us being in this precarious position didn't just happen because things happen. This happened because people voted for very specific people.
So not just something that happened because it happened, but directly because people voted for specific people. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like politics and the overall state of the world can't impact and screw with certain things, like supply chains and etc. Obviously, for example, what's going on with Iran right now is going to touch on oil, which is going to touch on gas. But this was an insane take, and that's what this video is going to be all about. This wouldn't be the first time that Max posts cringe online. It wouldn't even be the first time that Max has an overall take that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He was actually the center of another mini controversy just a few days ago that sparked a lot of debate on social media, which was related to Final Fantasy VII. Every now and then, a bit of a blowout happens online where the remakes go viral with old fans and new fans clashing, or more specifically, fans of the original and fans of the remakes. Max is usually a big defender of the remakes to the point of lunacy, where he even stated that the remakes are 95% the same as the original. This is something that even the remake's staunchest defenders do not agree with, because they firmly believe that the remake has a lot of changes and that those changes make it 1,000 times better than the original game. I meant to make a video about this, so maybe we'll get to it some other day, but today, today is Orange Man bad because game companies are doing bad things again. And of course, the companies will never do bad things on their own, it's gotta be someone else's fault. To be fair to Max, this isn't even a take that is his alone. This clip of his sparked debate right now, but even before then, you can find morons constantly trying to blame tariffs every time a company does a greedy decision. It honestly makes me wonder what are these people going to do when the Orange Man isn't in office anymore. Like, I wonder what they're going to do next time that these companies make anti-consumer moves, which is inevitable because they've been doing them for decades. Some people are so fixated on worshipping these companies right now that they end up blaming everyone and everything else that they can get a handle on. Even we catch that kind of fire sometimes. Like, you know when sometimes a game fails and people go, it's the gamer's fault, it's all the hate campaigns online. Because of course a game could never fail because it sucks. No. Companies f***ing up games? Since when has that ever happened? For a practical example, I'm sure you remember last year when Nintendo announced the price of the Switch 2, plus the price of the upcoming games, some of which were going to cost $80, plus the Switch to game keycards and a bunch of other crap like them charging you $20 to upgrade a game from the Switch version to the Switch 2, so on and so forth. There were geniuses already blaming the tariffs for that as well. Because of course Nintendo would never be anti-consumer. And the more you think about this, the stupider it gets. Like, for example, the tariffs weren't active the entire time. Whenever things weren't happening, why were the prices still up? And how about the same high prices in other countries whose trades were not affected by the tariffs? And why were the prices still high for those companies that do everything within America and don't even get affected by the tariffs? And what about the prices of the digital market? Can we please stop coping? Man, this is just this really crappy onion that just gets worse the more you peel it. It's that nonsensical, but it's like 39 degrees Celsius outside and I got nothing better to do. I can't even play video games in this heat, so let's just get into it. What are you doing, bro? You're defending the billion-dollar corporation by shifting blame away for what? To be fair in Max's case, I kinda get it because he has become this industry darling type of guy who gets invited to a lot of stuff. So keeping relations up with these companies has advantages. There are certain things that he can't say, or at least he shouldn't. But the least he could do is just pipe down and not shift blame away. It's really lame to be lying to your audience and supporting the wrong kind of thing instead of telling them exactly what's going on. That Sony, Xbox, and many other big companies in gaming have been pushing for the erasure of game ownership and the physical medium for over a decade. Look, let me give you another example that shows how ridiculous making this about politics is. You guys know Stop Killing Games, the big thing started by that YouTube guy, Ross Scott, back in 2024 after Ubisoft nuked the crew from people's libraries?
I am not aware of a game on the planet with a license agreement that says you are not buying a license. Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely.
Then he started a whole signature thing where it required 1 million to be heard by the EU. Pirate Software was even adamantly against it.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment.
And then last year got spit roasted, boosting signatures up, surpassing 1 million and getting into the docket. Well, anyway, all that has still been going on in the background to this day, where Ross has been working with other people to try and pass something in the EU, some kind of legislation that protects us when we buy a video game, by trying to ensure that those games have at least an end-of-life plan that allows us, who buy them, to be able to still access them, even if offline without any server support from the publishers. And there's one organization from the games industry called Video Games Europe who has been trying to derail them since the very start. I even made a video about it last year. It was this one right here, with probably my best thumbnail to date. I'm gonna read the statement for you guys and we're gonna parse the entire thing through my bullshit detector. I only bought it last week though, I haven't had time to calibrate it yet, so excuse me for any weird quirks. But let's check it out.
We own you. You ain't getting shit. These games are ours. You are nothing. You're a fucking renter, and we'll take whatever we want from you. Oh, we want the games not to get shut down? Well, too bad. Should've bought more copies. Should've bought more loot boxes. Should've bought more microtransactions and battle passes. Wanna keep playing your little game? Buy the sequel, chump! We're gonna do whatever we want, and there ain't shit that you can do about it because it's legal. It's all legal. The game was rigged from the start, bitch.
Anyway, they've been making huge pushes against SKG and using their billion-dollar lawyers to fight them and stop them. And to make matters worse, they also do shady shit like setting up private little meetings with EU representatives without Stop Killing Games representation. As happened just a few weeks ago, right before the EU ruled against a part of what the Stop Killing Games initiative was pushing, based on bullshit that Ross Scott and SKG have been clarifying is not the goal since 2024 now. And you want to know who is part of Video Games Europe? PlayStation. Xbox too, by the way. And of course Ubisoft, and on it goes. It's like the A-team of industry douchebags. So when these companies are trying to end our right to own a video game that we spent our hard-earned dollars on, is it the Orange Man's fault too? Are we gonna blame that shit on him as well? Like, can we please stop the cope here? Companies aren't your friends. They're not here to please you, they're not here to your... You know what I'm saying? They're not here to do that for you, okay? Those days are over. They used to do a little bit of that way back then when they were trying to convince you to buy their consoles, buy their products, get their subscriptions, etc, etc. But now that they got that, they're wilding out. The power shifted. It's not them who need you anymore. They're acting as if you need them, even though it's still true that it's them who need you. But you guys, I don't know. Some of you, at least, of course not all of you, I know my viewers are very based, but I've seen so many people on X who want to worship these companies. They want to lick their boots. You know, these companies, they may be Maximilian's friends, sending him early copies of games and shit for him to play and be positive about on his channel, but they don't give a solitary fuck about you or anyone else. Everywhere you look, dating back decades, there has always been an uneasy relationship with these publishers and platforms, a give and take of sorts. And it's always been the case that if you give too much, they're going to take it all, where they incrementally pushed for more monetization, more expensive games, expensive hardware, measures that we don't like, etc. And it's surreal to see people like this just deflect the blame away to anything else that they can. Like, oh no, totally guys, PlayStation is actually wonderful. The reason why you're losing physical discs, paying more for games, paying more for subscriptions, and the reason why they don't want you to have game ownership is because certain people in a certain country voted for a specific president. Like, get the fuck out of here, Max. I mean, what else was Orange Man's fault? We may as well make a list. You know, like I said, it's too hot here, fellas. Let's make a list. So, let's start in, like, I don't even know, 2006 or something, okay? Horse Armor DLC. Remember that shit when Bethesda thought it'd be cute to sell you horse armor for $5? Well, was it the Orange Man too? That was actually a rhetorical question. It obviously was. Pay attention. This is the real truth that big gaming doesn't want you to know. It's been him all along, boys. He's the Sephiroth of gaming. On-disc DLC. In other words, DLC means downloadable content, meaning additional content that a studio would develop and then release for a video game separately, at a price. Companies like Capcom started putting that shit on the disc at launch, so you'd be buying the game, the DLC would be already in the disc, but you had to pay separately to unlock it. Might not sound like a big deal right now, but back then, it was. The idea was that when you make a game and you sell it for $60, all the budget that went into making the game is included in that $60. So if you're going to make more content on the side to sell it to us separately, then it should be something that comes separately later, not something that's locked in the disc, already ready at launch. And it was a classic Orange Man move. I actually have the chat logs, guys. When microtransactions started popping up, and then those microtransactions, which were like 50 cents, 90 cents, etc., started climbing up to like $5, it was his fault too. Let's keep going. FIFA Ultimate Team. Orange Man. You want proof? Where is the World Cup taking place right now? Huh? Right now. That's right. United States of America. And who is the president in the United States of America? Exactly. It's been him all along, fellas. Remember when Sony looked at Xbox Live and thought, man, if they're getting paid to allow players to play video games online, then we want a piece of that too. And then they started charging their players for the same privilege on PS4. Yeah, me too. Loot boxes, otherwise known as surprise mechanics. My favorite. Oh, I love loot boxes so much. They're so much fun. You put money in them and then they surprise you. It's so wonderful. Anyway, Orange Man created them by dropping one hair from his golden head onto a dumpster outside of the headquarters of EA. True story, actually. Battle passes. So first we had season passes, right? And season passes were essentially a way for us to buy all the expansions and DLC that would be released for a video game at a slightly cheaper price. So let's say, for example, that a game would come out with 6 expansions, each at $5. That would be $30. But with the season pass, it would be like $20 or $25. Then these companies, I mean Donald Duck, decided that one season pass per game is too much. As in, too much value for us. So we started getting multiple ones. A literal seasonal pass where they would be releasing certain content during a season of the year on their live services. By the way, live services is also an Orange Man concoction. And so yeah, you would pay a season pass for that season, and then it's like, okay, spring is over, summer is here, time to do a new season pass with more cheap garbage content and charge them a new season pass. And if they couldn't do it that way, like if they couldn't keep it season per season, they still did multiple a year, but they called them seasons without it having anything to do with the seasons. Does that make sense? But then, they also decided that charging 4 passes per year wasn't enough revenue either, so we got multiple types of passes. Now, a game is able to have a season pass and then a battle pass or whatever on top of that. And it's gotten so bad where even single players are getting them now too. For example, last year I showed you Assassin's Creed Shadows and how that game has a battle pass of sorts built into it. Ubisoft managed to slip that in there somehow. Is it Orange Man's fault too? Well, of course it is. He probably called the studio and was like, listen very carefully. I want you to put less content in the game. Less. And this is how you're gonna do it, folks. You're gonna put a battle pass in the single player part. What? But, Mr. President, we can't do that. Those kinds of things, they're only for, live services. I don't care. You're gonna do it. You're gonna put it in. If you don't, we're gonna bomb you. Oh god, next, because yeah, we're not done, we're gonna be here a little while longer. Remember Battlefront 2? Remember how the only way to unlock new hero characters was through credits or loot boxes? If you didn't want to spend any extra money outside of the full price you already paid for the game, and you wanted to unlock Luke Paywalker or Darth Tax Evader, you had to get 60,000 credits, and each match would on average get you like 270. And the matches weren't short either, like this isn't a 5-minute match, these were big battles, it's what was appealing about the game. So yeah, you were getting drip-fed credits, and then these heroes were priced monumentally high, so you'd be grinding forever just to unlock one. Unless, of course, you wanted to try your luck at loot boxes. This was so bad that the backlash landed EA in Reddit history with the most disliked post on there, where they said something like, oh, we're doing this because we want players to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment when they spend every waking hour trying to unlock Obi-Wan Brokey and f***ing it also landed EA in court where one of their patsies historically labeled loot boxes as surprise mechanics. Was that Orange Man as well? I mean, maybe, who knows? Speaking of predatory monetization, which of course is also something that was clearly created by Donalius Voldemortalius, remember when Shadow of Mordor was a banger and then Warner Brothers was like, yeah, time to fleece gamers in the sequel, and then they set up a system where initially, before the backlash, for the sequel Shadow of War, they made orcs a commodity that could be purchased through loot boxes? Loot box orcs. Now that right there has to be an executive order from the Oval Office. By the way, isn't it crazy how backlash used to work? Gamers would actually come together in these moments, raise hell, and make these assholes backtrack on some of their egregious moves. Not all of them, but at least some. Now though, we can't do it, because anytime a company does something bad, instead of backlash hitting the company, we get bot farms and cucked content creators defending them online and causing infighting, where instead of raising hell in defense of game ownership and the protection of physical media, we're over here talking about whether this shit is the Orange Man's fault, or our fault because not all of us are out here buying every game ever in physical format. Good job guys, we are well and truly cooked. Now let's continue with more notorious examples. Remember when Ubisoft decided to sell us $10 skins in Assassin's Creed games via their Helix store? I remember, a store that is packed with additional armors, weapons, and other cosmetic items, including time savers, all priced at ridiculous amounts of money that actually double or triple the amount of money the game itself costs. I mean, they were selling map markers in this, dude. Like, they made these huge, gigantic worlds, and then they were like, hey, if you don't feel like playing it, we'll sell you the map markers for $3.99. Then you can go anywhere. Hey, shouldn't you put that for free? Like, I don't know, like a cheat code or something in case people don't want to do that, or maybe like an option. What are you, fucking stupid? Of course not. We gotta make some money. Don't you understand? The Orange Man. And of course, the season passes that they released for these games didn't include any of this content. Only the story DLCs, all the rest was charged on top of everything else. And what's crazier is that they increased the money with each game. So for example, in Valhalla, they started releasing the same exact armors that they had already sold separately before, or that were already available in-game, but in a different color for like an additional $5, other times for an additional $8, etc. Thanks for purchasing the $8 blue royal armor. Would you like a red version? Yes? Well, that'll be $8 again. Remember how in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and, Revelations, if you wanted to change the color of your outfit, you would go to a tailor and you would buy several different options in there. Not anymore. Now you gotta reach into your wallet and send them like $10. But no, guys, for sure, these companies would never be this bad on their own. These companies would never do shit like this for greed. They're doing it because they need it. Things are so bad out here because of Orangius Maximus that they just cannot help themselves. They need to scam us in order to break even. Look, Max, my dude, if by a stroke of luck this video takes off and you see this, I just got one request, bro, okay? I don't hate you, I don't have it out for you. If anything, I'm concerned for you, because you are dangerously close to choking on Sony's dick. But anyway, let's continue with the list of stuff that is all the fault of Americans and their voter base. Fallout 76. That is all. How could you? It's literally unforgivable. This one I'm serious. How could you do this to me? And the worst part is that after this, Bethesda looked at their dogshit game and went, nah, we need to charge even more for it. And they created Fallout First, a subscription service which initially locked out the #1 requested feature, private servers, so that people could play this game as a single-player experience. Let's continue with more stuff. How about Nintendo's Amiibo stuff or whatever? Or Nintendo Labo stuff, where they were like, yeah, we'll sell you a premium cardboard for you to play around with. Which was that one? Was that Marco Rubio got you to do that shit? Last year with Nintendo's variable pricing, the $80 Mario Kart World game. Are we going to blame politics for Nintendo shifting away from being a family-oriented brand? Are we going to blame politics for Nintendo suing Palworld 2 just because they made a better Pokemon game than them? Are we going to blame politics for little Timmy needing to go and get a job at the mines so that he can hopefully be able to afford the new Mario Kart?
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
Speaking of little Timmy, when we were little Timmys, we would play fighting games, right? And one way to unlock new fighters in the fighting game was to beat challenges in it. Shit, I remember when I used to play a lot of Tekken 3 as a kid, you had to beat the arcade mode all the way with a character in order to unlock a full stack of new characters underneath. There was one that I even remember I never learned how to get. It was this weird drunken scientist dude. I saw other people had him, but I never knew how to get it myself. Nowadays, little Timmy doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't even have to play through the goddamn arcade mode to unlock new characters. He doesn't need some new secret special way to unlock any special ones either. He just gets his credit card, or his parents' credit card, and he pays for them on the PlayStation Store. That's it. $6 per new character, $7. Then if there's like a special one, maybe it'll be 10 instead, and there you go. Game prices. I love this topic. We paid $60. Then, in 2020, it became $70. Corpo Shields came out like, well, it's about time, you know. It's been $60 for a long time. If we were to apply inflation to video games, we'd be paying like $150 right now, so $70 is actually really low. Yeah, it's just too bad that inflation doesn't apply to our wages, huh? Anyway, this scope isn't even accurate. Companies have been increasing game prices for over a decade too, with multiple special editions, deluxe editions, gold, silver, platinum, ultimate, etc. editions that all cost more than the last. Very rarely did we actually get an honest-to-God game release for $60 with all the content in it in the past 10 years. And yes, it's all bad Orange Man bad fault. Remember when Bethesda also went like, hey guys, we're going to monetize mods because we don't like the fact that you've been playing our games for years without us having any way to monetize you even further. So effective immediately, we are monetizing mods where money is split between us and the modders. But Bethesda, why are you taking a piece? Are you working on the mods too? Are they like official content? No, we're just taking a slice because it's our game and we want more money. Remember how Sims 4 had like 500 pieces of DLC? Literally unsustainable, guys. You know how hard it is to rehash Sims? You know how many costs making such a game has? You know how badly tariffs and AI and etc. are on the lonesome Sims developers? There was no other way to break even. They had to make 500 DLCs. Anyway, let's rapid fire some more of these that were clearly the fault of the Republican Party. $18 for Blue Guns DLC.
Is that blue? Is that fucking blue? This is fucking blue. You're giving me a gun that's painted blue and you want to charge me $2. Blue? You want to fucking charge me 1,200 credits for fucking blue? For fucking blue! Again! A paint set? 1,800 atoms for fucking blue? You want me to spend $18 for fucking blue? What is this, Evolve? No! Bethesda, no! Oh, I'm sorry, it's shiny blue! Oh, well, fucking that's great now, isn't it? Oh, well, good for you!
Remember also the whole drama with Destiny 2 and the cryptograms or whatever it was? Remember companies like Square Enix and others looking into combining NFTs and video games? Other companies looking into putting advertisements playing during video games, like for example in loading screens, and I remember this one was something that made me laugh a lot back then because it was like, oh man, SSDs are becoming affordable and soon there won't be any loading screens in video games because we're all going to have one either on consoles or on our PCs. And then these companies start talking about shoving ads in there instead and I'm like, fuck me. Remember Need for Speed Payback, who replaced the classic Need for Speed loop where you would customize your cars with in-game money that you earned from racing by buying parts in garages? But now instead it was with cards? Brilliant idea. I wonder where they got it from. Pay-to-win schemes, DRM to block used games or game borrowing such as what Xbox was doing back then with the announcement of Xbox One. Big mistake by the way, they should have waited a few extra years and just released consoles with no disk drives, making a push for digital-only adoption. This way, you don't need DRM to block used or borrowed games, because there just won't be any used or borrowed games at all, and some retard online is going to blame that on either the gamers or on the Orange Man. Huge fumble from Xbox. They should have been ahead of the game. They didn't think this one through. How about monetization schemes where big companies went to these big presentations focused on teaching them how to create addiction in their monetization models? Too much to cover in this video alone, but basically, think of the basic idea of an item in a Game Z store costing 150 credits, like a sword or whatever, but the lowest credits pack available to you is 200 credits. This leaves you with 50 extra credits after you bought the sword, which was directly done that way to make you feel like you had money just burning there, which prompted you to then buy more packs to buy something else so that it's balanced. Some games would also gift you credits to incentivize you to spend them, but again they were never enough for a really good item, which incentivized you to spend on another credits pack, which would roll you back to the same situation you were before. This stuff wasn't done at random. They were meticulously planned and designed this way to maximize spending. They were meant to manipulate and predate on people who were young or who had spending problems. All this shit was going on like 15 years ago already, but somehow yes, it's Orange Man's fault as well. Speaking of such garbage, let's wrap it up with some more rapid fire stuff. NBA 2K games being turned into online casinos, shoving ads in-game too, PlayStation adhering to the $70 standard price, Nintendo and Xbox pushing for $80. These companies setting up even more subscriptions with different tiers and continuously increasing their prices while adding no additional value. Increasing their price of the consoles not because they're selling them at a loss, this has always been the case after all, but simply because they're failing to turn a profit from other avenues. This isn't because of tariffs or any other politicisms, this is because of a very basic problem hitting their shores, which is people are not buying their games as much, and they are spending way too much of their money while making them. So at the end of the day, they're overspending on garbage ideas that gamers are not interested in. And now, ultimately, their push towards the eradication of game ownership is really just a natural next step after decades of nickeling and diming us. Decades of pushing the limits on what they can get away with. But oh no, for sure, buddy, it's because people voted for certain people. Listen man, when bombs start flying above my house, I'll start blaming politicians. When politicians make pushes to either censor content or tax it more because of violence and stuff like that in video games, which used to be brought up against games like GTA, Mortal Kombat, etc. way back then I'll blame politicians too, which isn't even a crazy idea. After all, RFK has brought it up somewhat in the last year again, where he wants to run more studies linking violence to video games. But right now, it ain't politicians making your games more expensive or ending physical copies or trying to nuke SKG. It's game companies. Game companies that cannot sustain themselves anymore, who don't know how to make video games anymore, who stopped being game studios focused on making games to sell to us and instead corporatized themselves to amass enormous wealth and use their influence for political and social impact goals. That's why a normal studio like Sandfall can make a game like Expedition 33 last year with around 30 people and for less than $10 million, sell it at $50 and make huge profits with over $400 million in game sales alone. But these companies, bloated the with thousands of employees, spending upwards of $300 million making a single video game and then selling them at upwards of $70 with deluxe editions and gold editions and ultimate editions, can't make a profit to save their lives. Not only because of overspending, but also because those games are packed with soy. If we're at least talking about PlayStation, who has been the centerpiece of drama over the last couple of days, then oh boy, soy narratives fit like a glove. That and replacing iconic characters with female counterparts that are written like shit and designed to look weird. Xbox is in the same boat though. Just the other day I posted this video. I recommend you guys watch it if you're interested. It'll show you the type of problem plaguing not only Xbox game studios and the type of people that they hire, but also just these major publishers in general. They will spend hundreds of millions of dollars making games, but instead of making stuff that gamers are dying to play, stuff that we are actually interested and passionate about, they go and play into this culture with these people.
What if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we?
I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team.
White men, cis white men, were not interested in the work that Sweet Baby put into for something that was already created.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Maybe say, we don't want you around if you're going to be and hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, stupid mother.
All receive special flame just for being a woman. And I wish I could turn the camera around so that you could see the incredible team that make X-Play. Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on.
How are y'all? Thank you for joining me today for some gospel music. Y'all know I'm fixing to be the #1 gospel music channel here on the YouTube, but it's just so gosh darn difficult with all them AI automatic made YouTube channels.
Saying I would definitely like to see more queer characters of color, not just just a white queer character. I would like to see more people that look like me.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically, bitch.
We're looking for people who, non-binary, intersex, trans, who aren't just white, they look like me and you. As people of color, we have to exist within the framework of America's just like capitalistic, colonialistic framework. That's whiteness is the standard.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
And I know the best way for environments to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
You're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads, thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Gee, I wonder why they're failing to make money. I wonder if not hiring activists to f up their games would help them out a little bit. Nah, forget about it. It's the Orange Man and his tariffs and foreign policy and all that shit, of course. Can we please stop coping with this and start pinning the blame on the insane, unsustainable culture that these companies have been fostering for decades? I mean, seriously, what are we even doing here? I can't say anything about content creators like Max and others like him because they profit off of staying in these companies' good side. It's a whole other side of content creation. Partnerships, preview events, sponsorships, promotional events. Hell, I'm pretty sure he's even been in ads from Capcom themselves. I can't say anything about politically obsessed lobotomites either because they don't even care about gaming. They barely play anything. They don't got a fucking clue about the history of any of this. They don't care. They have no skin in the game. They just use whatever bad situation is going on to sell their ideology, to use it as a beating stick against whatever their political opponents are. These people are just stupid, or in the case of content creators, they're just trying to protect their business relationships. But I can't understand why people do this. Why some regular Joes like you and me listen to this drivel and buy into it, doing the same thing, shilling on behalf of these companies and shifting the blame towards things that got nothing to do with it. It does nothing for us, it just lets them get away with it. It's delusional, man. All it takes is to just look around. Look at the history of these actions, where they truly come from. Go back decades, you're going to find them. And then look around at the indie and AA market where these same issues are not being found, because the way that these giants like PlayStation, Xbox, EA, Ubisoft, 2K, Take-Two, Square Enix, Warner Brothers, etc. have corporatized themselves and have been running their business is not the way that gaming should work. It's unsustainable. It's like a big bubble waiting to burst. These companies have been running themselves in this perspective where the money that they made last year needs to double the next year coming. This is like a fantasy where money is infinite and the amount of people are also infinite, and they're always going to be playing your games. Of course they're eating each other alive. There's no other way that this could have ever gone. We've been seeing this happen for years. For years I've been waiting for exactly these days. These last few years where finally it's not just, the companies coming out like, I guess we underperformed a little bit this year, but next year we're going to double down. Now it's like, oh my god. Oh, Johnny, everything is on fire and I don't know what to do. That's what they're doing now. That's why they're making such terrible decisions, because they're desperate, dude. They want to change the game. You see, the game works perfectly for smaller studios and indie studios, and it worked perfectly for them too for years because they were tame. But now, after going crazy, after 2020 and all the crazy shit that installed itself in the games industry, now the game doesn't work for them. Again, it works for everybody else, but it doesn't work specifically for them, and so now they want to desperately change the game because they're wounded. They know that they can bleed, and they're running out of time. So I'm sorry, big dog, but until that stops being the reality of the games industry, again, until I don't see an actual move being done against gaming, like extra taxation because of violence or a situation where physical literally needs to cost more because the discs are coming from a heavily tariffed place that impacts me. By the way, me, in my country. You listening? Me in my country, because I'm not American. This alone is a giant pet peeve of mine whenever I hear shit like this from Maximillian. Because yeah, sure thing, Max. Tell me about how I, John European, am paying more because of something some president across the ocean is doing. Explain to me why I'm paying more even when I'm buying digital over something that should only affect physical. Anyway, sorry, moving on. Until I see things that are directly impacting things that would make sense for me to pay more, while at the same time I see the industry reducing the price of a game digitally to reflect that the fault is indeed of a physical nature, a tariff or whatever, rather than a price hike because these people are just being their usual selves, then I don't want to hear it. Stop deflecting, stop shilling, and wake the fuck up. That's it for me on this one though, fellas. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe if you're a new guy, you know, all that YouTube stuff. And yeah, I gotta go now. I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna put ice cubes down my shorts. Y'all have yourselves a great day out there. I'll see you on the next one.